Welcome to AviatorDB News Briefing. Today is Saturday, August 22nd, 2026. First, breaking news headlines. Dobrolet An-3T destroyed after engine failure near Sakhalin Airstrip. In other news, Beechcraft King Air 200 crash lands on Prince George Road, killing one. Icelandair Play Acquisition Group completes 49% stake in Play Europe Holdco. White House builds first permanent helipad for VH-92A Patriot. JetBlue Flight 158 declares MAYDAY after bird strike departing Aruba. Now for the details. Sakhalin region, Russia, August 21, 2026. All 8 people aboard a Dobrolet Antonov An-3T escaped without injury Friday after the turboprop suffered an engine failure and caught fire during a forced landing on Russia's Sakhalin Island, destroying the aircraft. The aircraft, registration RA05873, was conducting a training flight in support of parachute operations for Regional Forest Fire Service personnel when the power plant failed at an altitude of approximately 600 to 800 meters, according to preliminary reports from Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency, Rosaviatsia, and the Regional Ministry of Emergency Situations, MCHS. The crew executed an emergency landing in a field roughly 2 kilometers short of the Zonalnoy airstrip, near the villages of Zonalnoy and Kirovskoy. Upon impact, the aircraft caught fire and was subsequently destroyed. All 8 occupants, 2 crew members, 5 parachutists, and 1 observer, evacuated independently and reported no injuries, according to MCHS. Rosaviatsia has officially classified the event as an accident, avaria. Russia's Investigative Committee and the Transport Prosecutor's Office have both opened formal reviews to determine the cause of the power plant failure and assess whether applicable safety regulations were followed during the mission. Dobrolet, a civil aviation operator, had been contracted to support the Sakhalin Aviation Forest Protection Service at the time of the incident. The An-3T is a turboprop modernization of the Soviet-era Antonov An-2 biplane, widely used across Russia and Central Asia for utility, agricultural, and special mission operations in remote regions. The specific cause of the engine failure remains under investigation. Source: Aviation Safety Network, ASN Wikibase. A Beechcraft King Air 200, registration CGEDV, and operated by Sakhalin Air Limited, crash-landed on Foothills Boulevard in Prince George, British Columbia, Thursday afternoon, August 20, 2026, killing 1 person on the ground. The aircraft was en route to Prince George International Airport YXS from the sturdy airstrip when it suffered an in-flight engine failure, according to the Transportation Safety Board of Canada. The forced landing occurred at approximately 2:20 p.m. local time during the afternoon commute, with the aircraft striking 4 vehicles. All 8 people aboard, 2 crew members and 6 passengers, escaped without reported serious injuries. 1 vehicle occupant was killed, and 2 others were transported to hospital in stable condition, CBC and the TSB reported. Eyewitnesses described the aircraft's left wing striking a pickup truck, causing the number V1 propeller to separate and come to rest in the roadway. TSB investigators have been deployed to Prince George to determine the cause of the Pratt & Whitney Canada PT-6A engine failure. The aircraft sustained substantial structural damage to the left wing and engine assembly. Authorities closed Foothills Boulevard between North Nechako Road and Highland Drive for several hours to secure the scene and conduct initial inquiries. The TSB has not yet released a final determination regarding the sequence of events leading to the emergency landing. Icelandair Group has completed its acquisition of a 49% stake in Play Europe Holdco, the company announced October 21, 2026. The transaction grants the Reykjavik-based carrier access to a Maltese Air Operator Certificate AOC, a strategic asset designed to increase operational flexibility and strengthen the airline's position in the European leisure travel market. Valued at approximately $68,000, the deal involved the purchase of shares from FPEHS, a fund managed by Isafold Capital Partners. Icelandair noted the investment will have an immaterial impact on its 2026 financial results. The group has also secured options to increase its stake at a later date. CEO Bogi Nils Bogason said the acquisition is primarily intended to support continued development of the Keflavik hub. By leveraging the Maltese AOC, Icelandair can potentially operate flights or ACMI wet lease services within the European Union, filling capacity left by the bankruptcy of the original Play low-cost carrier. The structure allows the group to experiment with distinct operational models, including possible deployment of Airbus A321neo aircraft on transatlantic leisure routes without complicating its primary Icelandic certificate. Industry analysts note the move reflects a broader trend of carriers adopting multi-AOC structures to manage crew, maintenance, and regulatory obligations more flexibly. The transaction remains subject to ongoing coordination with Maltese aviation authorities to ensure the certificate's continued validity. The White House has begun construction of its first permanent helipad on the South Lawn, a 100-foot diameter dark granite pad designed to accommodate the VH-92A Patriot, the new presidential helicopter. For roughly 70 years, Marine One operated from reinforced grass to preserve the historic grounds of the Executive Mansion. But the VH-92A's greater power output and downward-directed exhaust caused significant turf scorching during test landings, making a permanent solution necessary. Groundbreaking on the granite pad began in late June 2026. The project hit a snag in early August when President Donald Trump ordered sections of the surface, including a central presidential seal, torn up and redone after expressing dissatisfaction with the slope and finish. On October 19, 2026, Trump toured the site and signed a granite slab slated for integration into the final landing area. White House officials say the project is being funded privately by Sikorsky, a Lockheed Martin subsidiary, at an estimated cost of $5 million to $6 million. While framed as a private contribution, some reports suggest the funding may be tied to broader infrastructure offsets within the VH-92A program contract. The completed pad is expected to be operational by mid-September 2026, ahead of a scheduled state visit, and will eliminate the recurring need to divert Marine One to the ellipse during lawn maintenance windows. A JetBlue Airbus A321neo operating as Flight B6-158 from Aruba to New York's John F. Kennedy International Airport made an emergency return to Queen Beatrix International Airport, AUA, on June 1, 2026, after a bird strike struck its right engine shortly after takeoff. The aircraft, registration N259J, was carrying 195 people, passengers and crew, when the incident occurred during the initial climb from runway 11. According to air traffic control audio analyzed by aviation YouTube channel Captain Steve, the flight crew leveled off at approximately 2,500 feet to assess the damage and run emergency checklists. The crew then declared a MAYDAY, advising controllers of a bird strike to Engine 2 and stating they might perform a precautionary engine shutdown. Because the A321neo is not equipped with a fuel jettison system, the crew coordinated an overweight landing back on runway 11, a standard and approved procedure for the type, touching down roughly 30 minutes after departure with emergency services standing by. All 195 people aboard were uninjured. Local Aruban outlet Odd24 reported that passengers remained in Aruba overnight while JetBlue arranged a replacement aircraft for the continuing flight to New York. Incident tracking site Aero Inside confirmed the event as a bird strike with no injuries reported. The aircraft remained on the ground for approximately 45 hours for technical inspections before being scheduled for a ferry flight to a maintenance facility. That's all we have for today. You can get the latest aviation news at aviatordb.com.